your thoughts on the game, man, in general?
Onyx played really well tonight. They drew a lot of the stuff that we normally try and throw at other teams against us, and I thought they did really, really well. Gave us a real tough run in a lot of those maps.
And LO Blue Jay, the captain of Onyx, yeah, you guys did lose on points, but you've got to feel good about your performance. We saw some really clutch plays from you guys today.
Yeah, we tried to come out and give Area51. We know they're a really good team, so we just tried to come in and do our best, and so we felt it was a really good game. We also seen some things that we could work on for next time. So it was good games, man, and we were satisfied with our performance.
How about you, Trism? How did you feel about the hassle they were putting on the stand when you were coming in on some of those routes?
Oh man, it was tough. Legendary Area 51 defense with Tailspin, Titan, and Lynx. It was a tough time, but yeah, I feel like we played pretty well tonight, and props to Area 51.
Yeah, you guys had some pretty good scoping too from Alakabon. Zoid, I saw he was giving you some problems there.
Oh yeah, especially on dry dock, you come in on that right to left, and you're going high and you're going a little slow. So if the scope can just sit there and pick your face off, it's pretty annoying. He was doing a real good job with that.
And you guys had Jimmy Whiz on your team. How do you think he did today?
I thought he did pretty well. I think he's actually hopping in here in a second. He's just downloading TS3 and then he's got to connect. But it was a lot of fun scrimming with him. There he is.
Speaking of
Hello.
Jimmy Whiz, we want to thank you for joining us, man. How did it look as somebody whose first game of competitive tribes was today?
It was very hectic. I've been a 13-year FPS competitor, Quake, everything, and all I can say is this thing is super fast. Very super fast, a lot of hectic calls, but started to pick up on some of the calls barely towards the end of the third scrim.
Yeah, definitely a faster-paced shooter for sure. Tell us a little bit about your background, man, where you're from, what you're about. You touched on it a little bit there, but just to expand on that somewhat.
Oh, you have to forgive me. I'm in the middle of munching. I haven't eaten much, but no, I'm a competitive FPS player. I started back around 1998, actually around the Tribes era. I did play the original Tribes and moved on to Counter-Strike. Played competitively. Then Quake. I played at 2 CPLs and 2 WSVGs, and moved on to shoutcasting here a few years ago, and been doing that for a while. Now I host shows and try to bring the FPS community as a whole back. I mean, we've been out of the limelight for a long time, and as much as I love StarCraft 2 to goof around in, I want to see these incredible headshots on the main stage.
Yes, definitely, and having teams like this definitely makes that shine. LO Blue Jay, you want to talk a little bit about Game Shrine, how that's going? We're in week, this is the 3rd round, I believe, of Game Shrine North America.
Yeah, it's the end of round 3. We're heading into round 4, and so I feel like everything's been doing really well. So got a lot of good teams, a lot of good matches coming up, and the schedules were completely randomized, but it looks like a lot of the good matches are really coming up here at the end of the season. So I think we're going to see a lot of strong teams play each other and a lot of action going forward with Game Shrine, and so it'll be interesting to see which 4 teams come out of Division 1 and which teams come out of Division 2, and kind of mix them up in the playoffs and see who comes out on top.
How are the playoffs going to work? I wasn't sure about that.
The top 4 teams in Division 1 and Division 2 will advance into the knockout rounds, and it'll go into a bracket. The top team in Division 1 will play the number 4 team in Division 2, and vice versa, and so it'll match up like that. So it'll be kind of good to see, and we'll get to see which division is really strong, because you never know, because you haven't played that team all season. So it'll be for some interesting play going into playoffs.
Cool, man. Well, getting back to today's game, I'll throw this one at Zoid. I noticed that Onyx was using a base turtling thing a lot on standoffs, where they just go inside the base, set up a Doombringer force field at the door, and just kind of play the Alamo style. How are you guys reacting to that? Was there anything you were doing to try to change your strategies up to counter that?
Yeah, when we first went, it actually, if you watched my stream, I sat there looking at the shield, trying to shoot and get through it, and then try and get through, and then I just blew myself up with mines, but we figured out probably just ignore the Pathfinders, don't even try and take them in there, and just throw fractals. So the Brute finally found a place in competitive play.
Yeah, we saw some disco grenades. Yeah, the rarely used brute making an appearance, so that was fun too. I see we're also joined by Giga Laugh Bath. How did the game look from your end, man?
Oh, it was tons of fun. This is my, I guess, third scrim playing with Onyx, and good group of guys, and yeah, having fun.
Awesome. How many players do you guys have on Onyx now?
We have well, 8 active players and kind of 2 semi-active. So we mostly play with our main 8 guys, and then we got 2 guys that's kind of semi part-time, and so they come in and play from time to time. But yeah, 10 guys.
Okay, Zoid, how many guys do you have? I know there's you guys have a few ringers and people coming in, but your general team composition is about how many?
I'd say we're sitting around probably 11.
Oh, okay. And I know that we're talking about moving to different. Are you guys having any questions about the 7v7 or 8v8? That seems to be a contentious thing. Which is the optimal size for this sort of play? Any thoughts from anybody on that? Whether you prefer 7v7s, 8v8? Does it make any difference that much at your level?
I think the gameplay is significantly different when you go from 7s to 8s. You see a lot more splits, a lot more turtle capabilities when you're playing 8s, and I think the gameplay overall is quite a bit faster in 7s, and I disagree with most of the guys from my team. Most of the Area 51 guys do prefer 8v8. I actually prefer 7v7 as a game type for this game.
How about you, Jimmy Wiz? I mean, you've seen Counter-Strike and things like that, where we're generally talking about 5 players. So from a competitive standpoint, and from when we start talking about things like LANs and live events and stuff, do you think that that's going to have an effect on team composition?
I think it will. That was one of the major things that we've struggled with in a long time in our market, the FPS market, is how many people need to go to events, and it's really hard to get 8 people together, 7 people together, or even 5 people for Counter-Strike together for certain matches at certain times. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think that the smaller base that you can play with in Tribes, the better off for the scene. Because I mean, in the end, what it's all about is seeing this at your IEMs and your other big tournaments. So I don't know. We'll see. I think the smaller player base also tends to go more towards a tactical, more 1v1 type arena when you start getting midfield. At least from what I saw.
Yeah, we're excited that things are already starting to happen. We're starting to see money tournaments and money leagues, as well as what they're doing at Game Shrine, which is a wonderful thing. Blue, I know that you guys are using 8v8 as a Game Shrine rule. That's something that the players asked for, right? You guys are trying to basically tailor the rule set to what the players want. Is that pretty much what Game Shrine is about?
Yeah, Game Shine's a community league, so yeah, we put out a vote at the beginning of the season, and that's the player size that was voted on, and so we'll re-vote here at the end of season 1, which would be mid-May, and so we'll look at team sizes again, and if there's a high demand for both 7s and 8s, then we'll do 2 separate ones. So we're all about what the community wants, and to put out a kind of a league that reflects what the majority of people want. So we'll go from there.
Well, Link, you watched this whole thing with me, man. You got any hot esports questions or opinions you want to throw at these dudes?
What made you? I want to ask Onyx. Why'd you guys turtle? Like, what was the? Have you guys? I don't know. Like, I'm interested in that. Like, I've experimented with it, but why'd you decide to go with that? My observation was that Area 51 does have strong vehicle play, and to counter that, you guys went inside. So I don't know. Like, what were you guys thinking?
Well, a lot of us come from a Tribes background, Tribes 2, so that's what you did in Tribes 2. Like, you turtle it. That was the norm. You go inside and you kind of keep it secure. So we experimented with that on Tribes Ascend. I think the first map we ever tried it on was Dry Dock, and we had success there. And so we kind of just situational, depending on what team, what they do. But yeah, to answer your question about their vehicle play, that was a big deciding factor. We know they like to come with a tank, and they're really strong with striking as well. So we thought that'd be the best situation, give us a better chance, give our retrieve team a good chance, and while we're securing the base.
Yeah, it worked for a while, and then they started using those party nades in the general. So,
Jimmy, we watched your interview with Zoid this Sunday on your show, which I'll give you a chance to pimp your show as well. But after having seen this and played in this, has your opinion changed on any of the things that you guys were talking about as far as does this game has a future in esports and those sorts of things?
Yeah, I mean, from a player standpoint, from actually playing the game and seeing how it's played, I know it does. I mean, the communication aspect that it requires, and as the game gets bigger and more people start to play it, people gain respect for what these guys do, especially watching streams and hearing their responses and the calls that happen all the time. I mean, it takes a lot of work to even start there with the communication. Like, that's the core thing of a team, and the Tribes players really have to have that down to really stand a chance. But I love the game. It's so solid, so competitive. The only one concern I have is, are we going to be able, as an esports business, to get that many people to land at a time? And if that's the case, of course, I expect this game to be plastered all over the walls of MLG and the rest. But, step one, let's get those sponsors there. But I think it's perfectly competitive game.
And your show is called Cross...
Choke Point.
Choke Point. Yeah, I knew it was something with the C. My bad, man. Yeah,
okay.
Tell them all about it.
Choke Point is a show that Corey Dunn, some of you guys might know who he is over me. He's been casting, you guys might remember TSN, which originally was Tribe Sportscast Network before it changed to Team Sportscast Network. We started this up here, I believe, in January, and it grew from just a couple hundred people on ESCA, which is what we wanted. We wanted like a small community-based show. And next thing we know, there's anywhere from 2 to 6. We had 6,700 people watching us one time, and we're just kind of like, okay, what do we do with this? Because not everyone watches just Counter-Strike, so we're taking it into a new FPS genre general thing. Like, we're just gonna start talking about different games, try to bring people into these communities, like Tribes here, try to get some people answer these questions of how do I get in the competitive scene, what does it take, and that sort of thing.
Well, definitely tell Corey hello from all of us at tribescast. I caught a ESCA cast a few weeks ago from Dallas, and I was like, who's this guy? He's really good, and it turns out that's who it was. And
yeah, that was actually him and I.
Yeah, you guys were really good. And we have several TSN refugees ourselves here. Boomerman is on our roster, as are several of the veterans of the good old days of tribescasting. And we've added some new guys, too, including Leech from Team Onyx and some of the other guys from other teams. And today, Link, your first cast, how did you feel, man? How did your first cast feel?
I mean, I'm sweating. I'm nervous. I was really nervous. And but the hardest part for me is that when I cast alone, I just go a mile a minute. So I just speak, and then sometimes I just be like, all right, I gotta breathe. Breathe for a second. So it's kind of nice having Winters there. He's your seasoned veteran. I liked it. It's interesting for me too because I'm a competitive player. So I get to see what these guys are doing. What they're running, and it's but it's fun. I loved it. I love casting. It's really fun for me.
Yeah, and that's something we're looking at in casting too. That's another question of numbers, just as important as the 7v7 and 8v8. What we do with Tribescast is we're lucky enough to have Craig working the cameras. He does a great job. He works that picture-in-picture, which is really handy during standoffs and times of hectic plays where there are things happening on two sides of the field, literally, and it's difficult for one person to do solo. Tribes has always been a traditionally done as a solo casting thing, but we're having fun with the two casters and one camera, and I think it's working out well. But that's a question, how many is too many? And I've heard people say, do we need 3 or 4? And then is that too many? And so that's another thing. Jimmy, your thoughts on that as somebody who does a lot of casting of other games?
You know, that's a hard one, because I mean, I remember goofing around back in like the original Tribes days, and then it was slow. There were lots larger maps, so I mean, it wasn't as hectic. Now you've got, you know, people going 400 kilometers an hour. Hell, I don't even know how fast. Ridiculous shots happening all over the place. It's hard to figure out that number. I mean, if you're gonna do more than 2, it's got to be some great chemistry. Like, you got to have people that you can trust to interrupt you for a good reason and not make it awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We say the word chemistry a lot when we talk about these things. Zoid, I know you've tried your hand at a little bit of casting. Your thoughts on it?
For me, the most difficult part was realizing that I'm casting, I'm specking for other people to watch and not actually still playing a game. Because I would be sitting there watching a flag stand. I'm just so used to the idea has been driven into my head for so many years. Don't stand still because you're going to die. So I'm sitting there and I'm literally strafing back and forth above the flag stand in spectator view, and it looks like I'm having a seizure while I cast. But I think, yeah, for me the hardest part is just realizing I'm doing this so that other people can watch, and not necessarily what I find the most interesting, but where the most action is, what other people want to watch.
And as we head towards the bottom of the hour, it's probably a good enough time to wrap this up as any. We didn't get to talk to you much, Giggle Laugh Bath. You want to give any shout-outs to anybody in particular?
I am formerly Fried Monkey XP, so shout out
Okay.
to my
Yeah.
shout out to all of my former teammates, Deployable Trees, and shout out to all of my current teammates, Onyx. You guys rock! Can't wait to spend more time getting better and better and making it happen.
We always enjoy having Team Onyx on. Trism, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, just thanks for the great match, Area51. You guys always bring it, and next time we'll bring it even more. You guys better look out. Thank you to the casters, always, and Craig working the camera, so beautiful.
Oh yeah, see, I always call him the Scorsese of Tribes Ascend. And Blue, thanks to you for doing double duty as the leader of Onyx and the North American admin for Game Shrine. I believe you've added Thomasar as a co-admin as well, haven't you? Is that what I understand?
Yeah, Thomasar is admin as well there. So yep, big shout out to him for stepping up and helping out with that. So just looking forward to more good games there. Thank Area 51 for inviting us to play against them. It was a good match, and just always thank you to tribescast. We really admire what you guys do. It's really helping the game, and it's really entertaining and helpful. So we really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. And Zoidberg, I know you have lots of things to plug, and you're a pro plugger, so let's hear them.
I'll keep it short. Area51gaming.com is our website. Check out all our streams. Big thank you to SteelSeries, our primary sponsor, and a big thank you to Jimmy for coming out here and helping Tribes out.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed. And
thanks,
Jimmy, more about you. How do people reach you? How do people watch your show?
Well, the best way to find me is wizenhunt.tv, and thankfully he has an overlay up there, so maybe you can see my last name. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world to spell, but that's wisenhunt.tv. Once again, it's every Sunday at 5 p.m. CST, 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you guys are at all interested in FPS games, we'd love to hear from you. Give feedback, say, oh, your point sucks, you're wrong, or you're right, we love it. Whatever you guys want to say, you can always pop in the chat, or even to the website. There's a way to email us and let us know how we're doing. So once again, thank you guys for helping get the word of Tribes out. I was so excited when they said they're releasing this game, and can't wait to see it grow.
Well, thank you for bringing in a whole different audience to the game. That we appreciate you joining us for this show match this afternoon. And thank you all and I want to thank our viewers especially for making Tribescast what it is. If you weren't watching it, we'd be playing to an audience of none. So we thank you very much for joining us. You can find out all about us at tribescast.com or bliptv/tribescast. I'm Winners with the One. You can reach me at twitter.com/winnerswiththe1. And I'm joined by Link and Craig today. I want to thank you guys. Link, any Jerry Springer final thoughts on your behalf?
I'll give you guys a knife, see what happens with it. I don't know. No, I already got nothing. Oh, hey-oh.
Ew.
There it is. There it is. I'm trying to be good. Oh, man. Alright. Well,
made it all the way through, though. That was great. That was very good. Very, very admirable restraint on your part. Yes, sir.
No, I just want to say thank you guys. It was great to watch. It was a good game. 8s is always interesting, like And best I know, but you guys are in the sevens turning coming up on May 5th, so I'll see you guys there. I'll see you guys around, okay? I'll see you guys around.
And we
So-
hope to see you more on Tribescast, man. You did a great job coming in at the last minute and doing this thing, and we appreciate it very much. And check out Link's team, BFF, Best Friends Forever. A fun bunch of guys and a talented bunch of guys as well. And speaking of talent, I want to thank Craig, foremost of all, for doing such a great job behind the scenes on the camera and telling us what's going on. I understand he had his mic on for one of the rounds, which is great. I like for people to hear what Craig is doing, because it helps us a lot, and sometimes people don't know how valuable Craig really is, but I think they do. I mean, Craig is still the only caster in Tribes of Sin to have a team named after him, Craig's Angels. So I want to shout out to Craig's Angels and to Craig and to everybody at Tribescast. We have such a good time calling these games, and once again, thanks to everybody. I think we've thanked you a million times, but even that's not enough. So from all of us here, join us later. We'll have more games for you. As I understand, there's some Game Shrine rounds happening and some other things happening, and we will be scrambling to get some people together in between now and then to cover those for you. So be looking for those, and we'll see you here in a few on Tribescast.
Thank you very much, guys.